Hey friends, Becca here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 8 things that MLM recruiters don't want you to know, or at least they don't tell you until after you join. So before I jump in, I just want to say one thing. There is a difference between an MLM and a pyramid scheme. Not all MLMs are bad, and it's up to you to do your research before paying to join, because that's how MLMs work. You have to buy a starter kit in order to join. Many people have experienced success with this business model. However, success is relative and it's rare. So keep that in mind before you shell out $50, $60, $100, even more sometimes, to join an MLM. I've been in and out of MLMs for probably over a decade. And while I'm not one of the people who experienced great success with this business model, I have known people who have experienced some success. Maybe they made enough money to pay for groceries, save up for a vacation, things like that. There are people that I knew on the MLM teams I had been a part of who were making a full-time living by using their MLM business, by building their MLM business. So I do want you to know that they're not for everyone. I've shared that before, but it is possible. There's just things you need to know up front before you get started. So number 1, and I'm scrolling through my notes here so that I don't lose track. Number 1 is you have to be willing to become a social media influencer. Basically, something that recruiters neglect to include in their "this business will change your life" speech is that in order to be successful, you have to be willing to be visible like an influencer. Whatever you do, don't fall for the "trust me, you don't need an audience to get started" spiel that they try to serve you, because trust me when I tell you, you're going to need an audience. Without an audience, you've got no customers and therefore no business. So no audience, no customers, no business. Basically, you have to be willing to make social media posts on a daily basis, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, and you have to be willing to make videos of yourself using the products and showing it as if it's just a natural part of your day-to-day life. This is easy if it really is a natural part of your day-to-day life, but it can get harder if you bought the product just to try to sell it, and now you're attempting to incorporate it into your life, and it just doesn't feel very authentic at that point. Number 2, there are some very sleazy sales tactics. Once you're in, you are taught how to sell your products to your personal network. And they teach you how to talk about the product in a way that sounds natural, authentic, as if you've been using it for years and you just want them to know about it. And they try to teach you how to share in an authentic way online to broaden your network and continue making sales. The problem with all of the tactics that they teach on MLM teams is they're all pretty sleazy and slimy. I use those words because honestly, when I was doing them, I really felt so ungenuine. I felt inauthentic, and it felt weird to try to convince my family and friends that they needed this product in their life. And by the way, if you buy it, you're helping me start this business that I'm really passionate about. So the reality here is that they're also the same sales tactics that are used by door-to-door salesmen and telemarketers, and we all love those, right? So the thing to keep in mind here is that this is the stuff you're going to be taught, but it also doesn't mean that you have to do it. There are ways to market MLM products without being slimy and sliding into people's DMs with those "hey girl" messages. Number 3, the product pricing and the perceived value are not made clear. When you join an MLM, you're not really supposed to question the product pricing. You're also not supposed to question if the product is actually worth that price. And I immediately want to question that because, number 1, I'm inquisitive and I was raised to ask questions, but also because I can compare the MLM's product, one of their products, right, to a product that is similar in quantity, in quality, from a local grocery store or just anywhere, right, that isn't an MLM, or even to another MLM selling a competing product. And I might question why it is that this MLM that I've chosen to join is charging what they're charging. They discourage these questions, though, because they want you to believe that these products are just worth it and that's it. No questions asked. So basically, don't be afraid to ask questions, even if your recruiter or your team or even the MLM themselves discourage it. Never be afraid to ask questions, and never be afraid to compare products for yourself, even though you're not technically allowed to publicly compare these products like on social media and stuff. More on that later. Number 4, comparing personal volume or PV to the actual product's pricing. MLM product listings always show 2 numbers, the price tag of the product and the personal volume that the product is worth. Very simply put, PV, personal volume, is basically an intercompany currency, and it's used to help brand ambassadors know how much product they need to buy each month in order to keep their business accounts active. I take issue with this, and I'll talk about it in the next point, but basically, I question why it is that the PV number never fully matches the price tag of the product, because there are products that are $97.99 and their PV is $96. Why is that? Why aren't they just the same? If you know the answer to that question, let me know in the comments. Number 5, some MLMs require a minimum recruitment quota to keep your brand partner account active. Actually, I'm going to be talking about the minimum monthly order in the next point. So let me just talk about this one first. Sure, when you first start out, just getting a few customers each month is seen as great work. You're praised, you're congratulated. They tell you, oh my gosh, you're a natural at this, you're going to do so well. But eventually you find out that in order to keep your business account active, you have to recruit recruiters a few times per year, for example. Every MLM has a different requirement for how often and how many recruiters you have to recruit. These are people who are going to do exactly what you're doing, sell the product. Also persuade other people to sell the product. So I don't like this because this is actually very similar to the definition of a pyramid scheme, which I'll put here on the screen from the FTC. But basically, that's the Federal Trade Commission, in case you're wondering. But basically, it doesn't make sense to me why I should be required to recruit, 3 to 5 people every 6 months, for example, in order to qualify for my own commissions, because it shouldn't be up to how many people are agreeing to become sellers like me. It should be up to how many people I sell to for me to earn my commission. That only makes sense, right? Then we move on to number 6. Most MLMs require a minimum monthly order in order to qualify for your commissions. So I mentioned this a moment ago with PV being an intercompany currency. In addition to a recruitment quota, you also have to buy a certain amount of product each month to maintain your business account and to qualify for your commissions. What? How does that make any sense? So when you go to make your order, you have to look at how much PV each product is worth. Because each month, certain ranks within the company are required to purchase a certain amount of PV to qualify to keep their business account active and earn their commissions. So let's say you're at the second rank in the company, you might be required to purchase 100 PV worth of product. And that could sound like it's equivalent to $100 worth of product, but it may not be, simply because there might be one product that's worth 96 PV, but it costs $100. And then that means you've got to buy one other product that's worth at least 5 PV in order to secure being over the minimum PV amount. So you will end up paying probably $130 to $150 a month in order to hit your 100 PV minimum. Again, why is PV and the price tag not the same? So here's what happens. Without your minimum monthly order, you can lose access to your commissions, and the company has every right to deactivate your account because it's within the brand ambassador agreement. You agree when you create an ambassador account that you're going to maintain a minimum monthly order according to the rank that you reach, and they reserve the right to withhold your commissions if you don't meet the 5 standards that they've set up to qualify for commissions. What? But the thing is they're safe because they set this whole agreement up and you signed it because you wanted to be an ambassador. So you agreed. So you can't sue them. And when you call customer service, you can't tell them, hey, I know that I have to order every month, but my card expired and I didn't even notice. I updated it and I made my order, but it didn't go through till the new month. Can I still get my commissions? They're going to tell you no. I actually witnessed this happen a few times in some of the MLMs I was a part of. Thankfully, in one of them, the team leader who had been with the company like 15 years knew the CEO personally and was able to get that person's money for that month. But it was wild. Like the fact that you have to know somebody who knows the CEO to be able to get your money. And let's say you're relying on that monthly income. That's crazy. Anyway, so number 7, you're not allowed to compare your MLM products or pricing to other companies. I mentioned this previously. MLMs have strict compliance departments that actually go around making sure that you're not sharing any content that could discredit the company. They literally do this, especially the higher up ranks that are making a lot more money. Compliance teams will go through social media and they'll make sure that if you're earning a certain amount, for example, that you're not putting the company in a bad light whenever you talk about their products. Basically, you're not allowed to share side-by-side comparisons of other companies' products and their prices. And that's actually something that you can get into really big trouble with the compliance department. They can deactivate your account if you don't comply with taking those posts down, even if those posts were the reason why you made sales or got recruiters to join. It's crazy. You could have made the company hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars in profits through those posts, but they'll tell you to take them down. There's also certain terms that you are not allowed to use when publicly talking about the company's products. So literally, they will give you a list of do say and don't say terms and phrases in relation to whatever products that they offer. Because, for example, if it's a product that is a health and wellness product, they can't claim that it's a cure or a treatment, which of course you don't want to do that because that's rude. If it doesn't work for someone and you've promised them that this can treat your illness, but you have to be really careful what terms you actually use when talking about the company's products. So that's like a whole learning curve that's required if you want to be successful. Number 8, and this is our last one, earnings are not guaranteed, but the potential for success is a strong marketing tactic. All MLMs are required to have an earnings disclaimer. I'll put on the screen an example of one. This protects them from getting sued if you work your butt off but never actually achieve the levels of success promised to you. The thing that I can't stand about this is recruiters will literally make videos, posts, DM you, talking about the amazing life-changing experience they've had being in their MLM. And they'll say, if you want to experience this success, whether it be financial success or time freedom, whatever, get out of debt, go on vacation, they use these tactics to persuade you that it's worth you joining. And because their marketing is so beautiful and polished, and some of them are very authentic in how they share, which is great on one hand, but also not great on the other hand, because then you really are persuaded at that point. You're like, this person started out like me, an average person. Maybe they had no following. They took 5 years, they built an audience, they started making money each month, they built a team, they work from home, they can do work vacations, all this stuff. They use these as a marketing tactic in and of itself. So just be aware of those tactics, whether it be look at this amazing life you can have, financial freedom, all I had to do was sell this one product. This is also done with Master Resell Rights products that you've probably heard of as like a big trending thing. It's basically another version of an MLM without the downline and without earning a commission off of everybody below you off of their sales. But that's a whole other video. So basically, MLMs. Are they worth it? If you're still on the fence about whether or not you should join an MLM, if it's right for you, I did make another video called Should You Join an MLM? And you can watch it like right here. I should have it here on the screen. You can click on it and watch it. But basically, do your research. Don't go in blind. Don't waste your money, okay? If you really cannot afford this MLM's product to start out, if you have to put it on a credit card, I highly discourage you from getting into debt to start an MLM business. It is one thing to take out a small business loan to start a legitimate business that has real market analysis behind it, that can have real revenue and profit projections for the next 3 to 5 years. That's one thing. Taking out debt to join an MLM, all because they have convinced you that it's worth it because you can have this life, don't do it. It's not worth it. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. It's not worth it. Anyway, check out this video if you want to know whether or not I think you should join an MLM. I always hold the same opinion that it's up to you. You have to do your research. You have to know what you're getting into. So if you've done all your research, if what I've shared with you has just helped you make a more educated decision, great. If you still feel like joining to support another friend, that's great too. It doesn't matter if you decide to join or not. Just know what you're getting into ahead of time. That's it for this video. Check out this video if you're still wondering, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.